Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sync 24 TV. This is Kennedy Abongo, your host and analyst. The show is the Nationalist show. Today, we are going to look at Ruto's cabinet. The president appointed his cabinet today. How do you find that cabinet? Our analysis basically would be on whether those appointed or the cabinet itself aligns with his promise to the people of Kenya when he was campaigning, and then two, whether it aligns or it represents rather the face of Kenya as required by the constitution. So before we go into that analysis, do kindly subscribe and click that notification bell so that you're notified whenever we post. So why is this important? This is important because basically these people will be running the affairs of the nation with the help of the president. That is first, and then again, secondly, the fact that the constitution requires that the cabinet must represent the face of Kenya, then it shows that it is important for every other person or every community to feel that they belong in this particular country, or even every region for that matter, because we have 42 communities, so all of them cannot be represented. But at least if you have somebody coming from a particular region, you'd feel, okay, we are in the government. So that being said, in your view, if you think so, with respect to those questions, if you think that Ruto's government or Ruto's cabinet corresponds or aligns to his promise to the people during his campaign, you can leave a comment below so that you know what you're thinking. Also, if you think that it represents the face of Kenya, then also leave a comment below. Okay, what is our take? Our take, first of all, we are going to start with whether it represents the face of Kenya. If you look at the cabinet, I do have that list here. You cannot say that one particular community dominates over the others. I think there is, if you're going to look at mostly the community that took a lot of seats probably is Kikuyus and Kalenjin. But if you look specifically, Kikuyus, they're about 2 only, if you consider that. And then Merus, we also have at least 2 Merus, that is Medika Linturi and Kithure Kindiki. And then he's also looked at Coast. Coast also picked 2, at least from that region. And then Nyanza, Luo Nyanza specifically, has 1, Luos have 1. And also there is Kisii. So Nyanza as a whole has about 2, if you considered it critically. Other people who've taken also a lot of posts, I think, are from Western Kenya, where we have now Musalia Mudavadi, Ababu Namwamba also coming in that cabinet. I believe that is all from that other region. And then there's also Susan Wafula. So in terms of representing the face of Kenya, I think the cabinet by Dr. Ruto really represents the face of Kenya. And this again is a surprise. Why am I saying it's a surprise? Because so many people expected, and Ruto has been accused of only appointing Kalenjins. But now he's appointed a cabinet that truly represents the face of Kenya. So you cannot criticize the president on that front. So I think on that score is scored quite well. So does it align again with his promise that he made to the people? When he was campaigning, especially after Right Honorable Raila Odinga took Martha Karua as the deputy president running mate, as his running mate rather, President Ruto at that time, being a candidate, made a promise that his cabinet will be 50% women, that he'll really ensure that the cabinet is 50% women. That has not happened. Of the 23 cabinet secretaries he appointed, that is including Mudavadi, 15 of them are men. 15 are men, and then 7 women. Yeah, 15 men, 7 are women. So that falls far below the 50-50 that he had propounded. So I think that was just a political gimmick, and probably intended to, just sway voters or women voters who thought that they would now vote for Martha Karua as deputy president, being a woman. That did not happen. In fact, most women, I think, voted for President Ruto more than they voted for Right Honorable Raila Odinga, according to statistics. So a lot, especially from Mount Kenya, most women from Mount Kenya voted for Ruto compared to men who voted for Raila. A lot of men voted for Raila due to Martha Karua factor. So Martha Karua factor impacted men more than women. So that being said, it aligns. It does not really align. The appointment of the cabinet does not really align with his promise of giving women 50% slot of the cabinet. And then again, you have to also consider the promises that he made to other people during his campaign, because these were now what we call the deal cutting. How are we going to share this government? So to that extent, I think is again proved to be a man of his words. So you can really argue about the 50% for women, but you cannot really argue about the specific promises he made to the people. People like Mudavadi promised them that they'll get the chief cabinet secretary. That is exactly what he did. He also promised Mutua a cabinet slot. He has delivered on that. So essentially, Ruto has ensured that whatever promises he made to specific people, he has met those promises. It doesn't matter whether like for Mudavadi had asked him to bring 70% of the Luhya vote. He did not do so, but still he decided to honor that commitment nonetheless. So this makes him, I think, a person who keeps his promises to the people he made, despite the change of circumstance. So nothing really changed for him. So he gave everybody whatever they wanted. So essentially, the last question, I think, which I believe is pricking the mind of a lot of people, so is to ask whether the appointment itself now, if you consider all these factors, that is conform with the constitution. You could argue, when speaking to the women aspect, then it does not conform with the 1/3 gender. I'm yet to calculate, but I believe it does not. There's a big number. The 23 that is appointed is a big number. And again, when it comes to representing the face of Kenya, then that it conforms. And then the big question, because so many people, I think, only believe in, you only want to see the cabinet secretary because this region has got, this other region has also got their person. That may not even be the main issue. The main issue is, or which we are really waiting for with bated breath, it's still going to spread. Of Kenya, or these particular ones are now going to come from, just specific regions. I'm really looking forward to how he's going to appoint his permanent secretaries, because those are the ones who run the ministries. Cabinet secretaries just run around with the flags, and they're just, an important position, but the real people who deal with money and everything are the permanent secretaries. So we wait, and we'll do that analysis once he is appointed his permanent secretaries. Thank you very much for watching this show. Do leave a comment and share this video. Thank you.